Hey, I'm Marcus Brown, and some of you may know I like to make ski movies. Also, I've learned I like to have conversations with interesting people in the sport. So earlier this year at the Hilltop ProAm, I sat down with some of the top athletes in this industry, and that's what you're going to see right now. Some interesting conversations, hopefully, with some of the top skiers in the sport. Hope you guys enjoy. Robbie, what's going on, dude? Where are we at? What are we doing?
We are at Hilltop Pro in Seattle, Washington, and it is an absolutely beautiful site.
Have you ever been here?
I've never been here. I've seen all the videos and all the stuff. I was excited to come, but things never usually look as good as they do on video in real life. But no, man, it's beautiful. It's amazing.
Not a blade of grass out of place?
No.
Does it remind you of England?
Yeah, it does actually. It's kind of like a similar, slightly chilly version of England. Everything's big, everything's nice and green. Everything's very, just beautiful. Just with a bit more blue dye in the lake. It's mad.
How's the season been so far? Talk to me about the season.
It's been amazing. Like, it's kind of, as a child, I don't know if I feel like most kind of water skiers who skied from a very young age, like I did. Like I watched every single webcast when I was a kid. I would never miss a webcast, no matter what. Just never would. And kind of watching all that, watching other people ski, seeing people getting 3 at 41, that's what you're going to need, guessing the finals, guessing all the cuts, and then to actually kind of be in the first tournament of the year and make the final at Swiss and get 3 at 41 twice, it was like, oh man. I was like, wow. never quite, I always dreamed of it, but I never quite thought that it'd actually kind of go well.
Does this feel like a breakout year for you?
Yeah, I guess. In my head, I'd always hoped that I was going to go out there and because that was my first American pro tournament really. I'd never imagined that I would actually go out there and it would go well. So I mean, I don't know whether breakout's the right word. I made a few finals, but in my head, it was the start of the season that I needed, and it kind of gave me some hope for the future of my skiing.
Take me back real quick to your childhood. Originally, why did you water ski? What was it? Can you pinpoint it? One thing? Maybe it's more than one thing, but
pretty sure my parents went, right, here's some skis, there's a rope, da-da-da. No, I mean, there's pictures of me. I was in the boat there's a picture of me that's on my, well, not my wall, but in the dining room, and there's me with this big life jacket on, pulling a rope in, no pants on or underwear, like.
We may need that picture. You might have to find that picture.
Yeah,
for
it's
us.
right. The bits are covered, but there's like me. My parents. I'd say my family kind of, the way that I was built up in the family is slightly different to a lot of water skiing families. Like, obviously with Mike and Will and Tom and Tim, and they're all very serious skiers. Dad was he got 2 at 38 or 2 at 11. And Mum wasn't a water skier, she kind of married in. But they loved it, and Dad put a lot obviously into the lake and the business with Tim, and it wasn't like I was never pushed. They have said many times they tried to force me into other sports, so I wasn't just a ski bug. Like I did rugby, football, hockey, cricket, all that kind of stuff, because it wasn't the only thing that they wanted me to do.
You could throw a ball pretty good. I've seen it.
Question, but
good enough.
But yeah, and that's why I think I'm lucky that I was never forced into it. The only thing they really kind of forced me to do was trick. I think the rule was if I tricked, I had to do 3 tricks to a jump. Obviously, I ignored it, but obviously, because I always wanted to go out there and jump like 10 times. Yeah. Like, no, you're like 8 years old. You should probably like chill on the knees a little bit and do a few tricks. But
what's your favorite event?
That's just one of those questions, isn't it?
Right now, current.
Right now, well, I'm in a slalom tournament, so it has to be slalom. No, it's slalom. Jump. There's just something about jump that it's terrifying. It's all kind of scary and dangerous, but that second after you come off the top of the ramp, well, half a second, you're only in the air for like 3 seconds, but that quarter of a second after you're off the ramp, you can see your tips, you're going up, the lake like opens up to you, and it's just like, oh man, this is where it's at. And I love jump, love slalom, and yeah, it's just I think slalom's more of a boy-centered thing. Like you go slalom and you go, right, I need to get through at 41. Obviously you can look at technique and all that kind of stuff. But jump, you jump 60 meters, whether I'm trying to go 65 or if I jump somewhere near 60 meters, I'm like, oh, that was cool. Like
you can feel it.
Yeah, it's a feeling.
Yeah, it's more of a feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, but here yesterday in training, fresh off the plane, I saw you get 341, and you just mentioned it a couple times. Is that really your goal, or like what's your goal when you set out? Like ultimately, what's going to make you feel something close to that feeling, that first half second off the ramp.
What's my goal is in like of enjoying? I don't know. My goal is just getting better. Like I think every single slalom skier, I want to win 41, obviously, and just it's just the feel, and it's a similar thing. The feeling of when you ride the line. I don't know if that's a phrase that's the phrase that I think of. The phrase of riding the line, like hooking up at the turn, accelerating into the wake, and just ride the wakes. Just feel like there's nothing there. The effortless, two hands, staying connected, all that kind of stuff. When you feel that, it's like the same thing. You're like, oh man, this is what it's not like inside, outside, inside. I guess that's the feeling that I'm always looking for. And obviously 41's nice, but yeah, obviously the goal is to run it.
Tell me a key for you, a technical key that's helped you find that feeling you just talked about, and why you think it's worked.
It's hard because it's, in terms of words, it's
really hard to describe.
I don't know if there's words there. For me, it's a lot of kind of bringing the handle in through the second wake, really trying to rotate off the second wake and outward bound up on the boat. Because I have the biggest habit for me, my whole life has been letting go with one hand, jumping inside, and obviously the wave. I'm pretty sure that's where the wave came from.
That's a popular wave. A lot of people do that.
It started to.
You.
I'd love to say I started it, but I copied it apparently.
Carl Roberge.
No, okay. all I remember is taking the. Let's say having banter with someone about their arm when we were younger, and she used to do it all the time. And we always used to kind of joke about it, that it was a bit weird, and what you doing that for? That's stupid. And then I remember seeing a picture with me. Obviously, it was when we were younger. There wasn't loads of pictures around Facebook, and I saw my arm like here, and I was like, "What is that?" I spent my whole childhood like making jokes about this arm.
Looking in the mirror now.
And now I'm like, man, it's popped up.
So when you take the handle, you're talking about maybe twisting out, or keeping the handle in, keeping the handle close. Are you trying to keep it close and in front of you, or trying to keep it close and to the side? Which arm has the load?
For me, it's thinking about kind of squeezing my left hip through. I want to be
going into one, say.
The basis of my, and I kind of tried to dial in on it when I started doing a lot more coaching. Was the basis is I want an arrow on my hip, chest, knees, and ski. Obviously, it's the ski that I'm trying to look for in the way that I think about it. And HOs have a nice pointy tip, so it's a little easier. Yeah. Unless the new ones don't. Yeah. But it's just trying to get that ski to remain outward bound, to remain out towards the bank. So when I'm coming into the first wake, I'm trying to stay fast and light and rotate the hips, rotate the chest, really get my feet pointing out towards the bank. And then when I edge change, trying to keep that rotating and keep the handle coming in, because that helped me a lot when I was kind of trying to get through 38, 39. Yeah. And think about coming to here and moving outward bound.
I got a question though, because I agree with what you're saying, but I feel like if you're on a bar stool and you're tied to a handle and you twist you twist this way with your upper body. Inside. Well, no, your lower body or your feet are going to twist to the down course, or like towards the buoy instead of out towards the shore. Yeah. But isn't that a good thing?
I don't know. See, it's the transition. It's the, because I was always, I mean, in England, I don't know what it was like in the West, it was always straight arms. My whole childhood, it was if you bend those arms, you're going in. Yeah. I mean, from a learner to...
it's drilled into your head.
Boom, straight arms. You watch old videos of Will, straight arms. Yeah. Whereas then it was kind of like, obviously Nate popped up, and you were pretty in with the arms, weren't you? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I would do stupid stuff. But I mean, I think I was doing okay things, but I wasn't doing as good as you're doing it.
No, yeah, and I think it's for me, it's just a matter of, if I think about relaxing my arms, I just come here. Yeah. I just come inside my chest. Whereas for me, it's more like of a release outward bound. Like obviously you're gonna run into the buoy at some point. So for me, it's kind of a.
But I like what you're talking about. I'm just trying to make sure that we unpack it, because if you're thinking about keeping the handle closer, or rather keeping your body close to the handle, it's kind of the real result. But sometimes as a skier, you got to think about where the handle is relative to you.
See, now you say it and I think about it, it's less of, I'm just trying to, I have a feeling that I'm trying to look for, and I get it every now and then. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to have to sit this way now. You've got me into it.
That's good.
So when I'm here, it's a kind of a feeling of coming, like I'm trying to twist, like I'm squeezing that like left butt cheek. Yep.
Forward and through,
but it's trying to squeeze to here. And I think that's why sometimes I shoot the ski out in front of me at 41, which...
But doing this move, I will say, creates a torque that keeps your ski from shooting too far too soon. So I think that's a good move, is what I'm saying. I think it helps you keep, it actually creates a torque that keeps your ski kind of pointed more towards the buoy going outbound, which helps you keep your feet closer to you,
so you're not moving.
Which helps keep from the ski getting so far away that you come to the
get stuck
inside.
and come inside. Yeah, and that's
So I think it's a good key.
yeah,
Really good
yeah,
key.
and it's a feeling, and I kind of realized actually, like I think it was last year. I'm like, man, I haven't thought of anything different for like 2 years. So like I just kind of thinking of that feeling. Actually, last year I tried to kind of add a few different things in, which was interesting. I was very kind of in a rotational phase in my head. I was like, right, I need to rotate through this course. It's obvious if the ski goes there, why would I want to stay open when I'm trying to get the ski that way? And I realized that maybe 2-4, that's not a fantastic idea at the finish of that. Like I was getting all this kind of stuff, and you'll probably see me do it this weekend. It's kind of my safety thing, because I know that the line's there. It's kind of rotating through the finish of the turn on 2-4, my onside, and coming this way. And I realised that probably wasn't a fantastic idea, and trying to kind of change that a little bit, get myself a little bit more lower body movement. Because 1 through 5, I still believe that it's rotation. Everyone, I don't want to be wrong, but this was kind of your kind of West Coast style more. I was pretty young when that was a thing. All I've heard is the West Coast style is chest down course. Like when I go do a lot of clinics at stuff, people are trying to keep their chest down course at the finish of 1 through 5, but then they're missing, offside, but then they're never actually getting it. Like when you see you do it, you come through and you stay open, and then the way I see it is you come off the second wake and you really you talk yourself up and you go from open to move. Like I watched Terry Winter at US Open. I was like, man, you can see him so much. He's open, but he does this off the second wake to then close off.
I think that's a key move.
And moves.
There's more than one way to skin the cat. Like obviously, loading on the inbound, like the downswing to center line. If you rotate the direction you're going and you load your lead shoulder, it does help you resist the boat by lowering the torque. So if I have my body like this, instead of open to the boat, my body like this, the connection point's lower on my body, so I have effectively more lever against the boat. However,
but then you don't get
you
that.
usually overload, and you usually people get this on the second outbound move. And so what I found is like
if you
more efficient to be a little more open. Inbound, and you get more effective mass shift and you get more effective acceleration, but then you have the move to make. You actually have a move to make like this, which helps keep the ski pointed at the buoy with a handle and less likely to shoot out.
Yeah, no, I like that feeling, but for me, if I think about being open, then my feet don't follow. So I like to think about, the way that I've always put it is I'm not moving my chest, I'm not driving with my chest. Like I like to think about my outside left, offside again, right shoulder, right hip, right knee, right foot, all coming kind of around the circle. And kind of Freddie Winter is someone who I think you see that big time from. Will a little bit, but it's a little more movement there. I just like to really think about coming around at that finish of the turn, and the shoulders are moving. They're not driving, but they're following, because if everything's around here, then I'm going to get that little bit more angle, and then I'm going to get that whip feeling that I think you get from this. And I can still load it because I'm not necessarily leaning on it, but I'm twisting into that, if that makes sense.
Kind of wrapping into it.
Yeah, kind of that feeling. Then there's a little more to give. But that's, just really trying to almost keep that ski trimming, but really move through the finish. And I know I had an interesting conversation with you in June, I can't remember where the hell we were. It was somewhere.
Florida.
And talking about the back of the ski, and that was actually changed how I thought of that a little bit. And it actually made the way that I think about it make a bit more sense. It was something else in there.
We should talk more about that
Yeah.
later. I hope the lawnmower doesn't come over here. That's going to bum us out. Sounds like he's coming.
He's coming. He's there, isn't he?
He's coming. He's coming for us.
Oh man.
Let me see what he's doing. All right, let's finish this up.
Where's he going?
We got. He's going to go down there for a bit, and then I'll take a break. Kind of got off track on technical stuff because I really didn't plan on that, but that's great. That's fine. What drives you to ski? What literally, if you could pinpoint one thing right now, at your age, you've kind of had a semi kind of breakthrough year here in America on the pro tour, we'll call it. And I don't know, I want to know, I think a lot of people want to know what drives you to do this.
I think I've done it for, I don't want to sound like I'm an old man, but I've done it for so long. I'm only 22 and I've done it for 18 years in slalom for like, I don't know, 17, 15 of them. Yeah. And it's like, I know a lot of people kind of say it's building into a habit. So part of it's a habit that makes me go out there every day, and it's almost a habit that I enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy it. Like I go out there, and obviously there's some days where you ski like rubbish and I got to fly.
You got to fly.
Well, some days you go out there and you ski like rubbish and it's not so fun, but there's always a boy in there that you get that feeling. It's like, man, I want to get that feeling again. And it's always been, you ski rubbish, you want to go out there and fix it. You ski really well and you want to go out there and feel it again. Yeah. So there's no like, obviously there's some times in the middle where it's like, man, I don't really want to. But then again, it's that, actually, I might just try this with my fin and I might just like, if there's a long, and just try search. It's the search for that feeling. And I think it's and obviously the score. I want to come here and I want to go on a webcast and rip it up. That's kind of the goal. Like I say, I watched a lot of webcasts when I was a kid. Yeah. I was like, man, that guy looks so cool. Like, man, and I remember that. That's the thing. I don't think it's...
Kids are watching you now, dude.
Yeah, it's not. I don't want to like feel... It sounds a bit big-headed, but I'm like, we were having a conversation with Will. He was like, man, I just don't think there's that much like hype around. Like when Jamie Boucher, and he used to watch him on a lake, he was like, man, that's so cool. I want to be there. I want to do that. That's what I want to do. And I was like, you don't realize, but I was that kid to you as you were to Jamie Boucher. And it's like, man, when you used to turn up, I used to put my stuff in front of the whiteboard because I wanted to watch him ski. And like Tom, it was the same thing for me. And I remember that. And I understand that there's a lot of kids there that watch that. Yep. And I was that. Like, I love it when I've done a few clinics at home and you get to go ski and they're like, oh man, are you going to ski? You're going to ski? And they get excited. It's like, to me, it's boring, but you go out there and you go out there and go, it's fun to see people get that excited about skiing. It's not, I don't think it's showing off. I don't think it's kind of, it's just going out there and doing a few flips and you make this kid's day and it's like, oh man, that's actually, like, I've spread the joy of the sport and that's what we're here for. Yeah, we go out here and we run 3 at 41 on a webcast and it's cool to watch and you want to meet them, but I think it's, there's a lot of excitement for when people ski well and hopefully I can ski well and get a little bit of excitement for myself.
I love that. Yeah, I think it's important. Speaking of the webcast, what could you accomplish in the next 2-3 days that would make you walk away from this weekend feeling good? And don't be afraid how it sounds. I mean, I just want to know. Like,
yeah, what could I accomplish? I mean, honestly, I would, my first goal, well, first goal is to make the gates. That's always the start goal. All right. No, I want to make the final. Like, I'll truly be happy. I feel like at my age and where I am, if I make a final, then that's a good start. You can't, if you're not in it, you can't win. So no matter, like at Swiss, I was a little bit miffed and I kept kind of making finals and skiing a bit, in the finals. But I was like, I'm here. If I'm in the final, at some point it's going to snap and I'm going to go get 41 in the final and be able to throw the fist and be happy. But at the minute is if I can put 2 good scores in the prelims and I can be on the dock with the 8 best people in the world, then that's a very good day for me. There's not that many tournaments. I don't have too much experience on the pro scene. So yeah, I mean, if I make the final, I'll come away happy. And I mean, it'd be nice to get, I don't think I've been top 5 yet. No, it'd be nice to get a top 5. I mean, podium, I don't know. I mean, of course I'd want to win. I'm not here. I believe that if I need a bit of luck and need a bit of amazing skiing to just get to the final, and I need that for another day in the final. But I wouldn't be here if I didn't think that I could pop out a score and maybe we'd be in the chance of winning, but who knows? We'll find out in 3 days, won't we?
Yes, we will. Last question. The rest of the season, what do you want to accomplish? What do you got coming up and what do you hope to do?
What do I want to accomplish? So we have California ProAm next week, and then we have a little bit of a break. Then we have Malibu Open, Worlds, and Mastercraft Pro. I don't think, and then there's Miami, which unfortunately I'm not going to be here for, which is a shame because it's a new tournament. I'd love to support it, but just can't quite make it work with visas and things. But no, again, same thing as here. I think it's like I say, it's my first real proper year skiing. If I go and make final, if I go to California Pro and I make a final, I'm going to be so happy. Like they're full fields. It's the best skiers in the world, and you're competing against them. And if I can make a final and go out there on Sunday, or make a head-to-head, or and that's the biggest thing to me. It's all about being consistent. Like you see some people are great at doing 41 sometimes, but to me the best people are the ones that can do 3 at 41 all day, every day. Yeah. And that's what I look at. I'd love to be on the dock, and I don't think, as a kid, I always imagined that you watch people and you go, man, it must be so good turn up to a pro tournament and just knowing that you're going to get 3 at 41. Like again, Will, like I obviously watch him the closest out of everyone else in slalom, and I would turn up and go, man, it must be so cool to turn up and know that you can just get 3 at 41. And in my head, I'm still searching for that, but I now understand that, yes, even though it looks like they get it all the time, it's not a guarantee. No. But that's the goal, to be able to get 2 3 at 41 all day, every day, and and then push it down there when the time is right. But yeah, consistency this season. Finals, and you can only podium if you make the finals. It's all good being able to run 41, but if you can't get 2 at 41 to make it in the final, then there's no point. So that's where I'm at, trying to get 39s all day. And
I think, not to go deep, but I think you just highlighted something that bugs me about the sport in general, which is kind of the short-term hero approach, where people are like more fired up about kind of a practice PB, or like, you know, where maybe their buddy who was driving might have been helping them a little bit or whatever, than they are about kind of finding a feeling that creates consistency.
Yeah, and I know, like I say, I think I'd be not alone in saying that Will's one of the most consistent skiers in the world and has been for the last 20 years. Yeah. And that's my goal. My goal is to be able to go out there and not be able to go and, like I say, not be able to go and get 41 once in a blue moon and make it into the finals. And like, obviously it happens, you make mistakes, everyone does. But I want to be the kind of guy that, okay, if I'm on the dock last off, I know that I'm going to get 41. I remember seeing, it was Matt Fraser in the CrossFit Games, and he was like, my goal is to know that when I turn up into a tournament, we're stuffed. Like, everyone else is like, oh man, we're not going to win. And obviously that's the goal. That's everyone's goal. That's everyone who's here. But
hey,
yeah,
he's a skier. He's a water skier.
Yeah, I saw he's been out there.
We need to get him on the water. We need to get him on a new ski first. We need to get him on the water.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, Fraser, we're going to get you a new setup, buddy.
Yeah, that sounds good. But yeah, no, and it's like I say, for me, I'd love to, but I know it's weird, and I'll say it, my tournament PB is a boy less than my practice PB. It's like, but then I think that holds people back. Like, oh man, you haven't run 41? I'm like, well, no, but the fact that I can go out there in a tournament when I hurt my rib the start of the week, didn't ski for 3 days, go out there and get a PB, I'm like, to me, that's a winner. I see all this people going on in practice and kind of running 41 and making 39s a key, so I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Why does that look so easy? That's me killing myself at 39, and I'm like, well, and then I'd turn up to a tournament and hopefully it goes well, and that's kind of, and I think that's in our ethos in England, and that's our ethos at Hazelwood Ski World, the PWTC. Definitely, it doesn't matter what the hell you do in tournament. We don't write down tournament practice PBs. Sorry, it doesn't matter what you do in practice. It's about getting confidence and consistency, and that's hopefully that I'll take through. Hopefully, a long career is that tournaments where it's at, and getting consistent. And the goal is to be consistent on 41. I think that's everyone's goal, but yeah, that's the goal.
Well, on that topic, last question. Do you know how old Andy was when he won his first World Championships?
No, I have no idea. No, how old was he? 20?
I think he was like 18.
Was he 18?
I think.
Yeah.
I could be making that up.
Sounds about right.
But very little kind of international experience, kind of an unknown in a way, and world champ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you properly addressing the potential that you have a chance to go out and crush buoys at the Worlds this year?
So for me, I have no, obviously I'm the only one that's in my head, and everyone else is the only person that's in that. So I have no idea, say Sean Hunter, Joel, all the kids that are my age. Yeah. I'm not going to be stupid and say, I'm not going to jump to Worlds and hope that you win. It's in all of our, like I say, we've all been skiing for years, really. Yeah. We've all been watching all these people win Worlds and like, oh man, that looks so cool. Like just to go do that. I'm not going to say that I don't want to do that. Yeah. But to me, it's another tournament. To me, the world is important as Hilltop. And that's, I think a lot of people really kind of prioritize stuff, but I just want to go out there, and if it's a tournament, I just want to ski well. I want to make fans, I want to prove myself, I want to go out there and get through it 41, 41 and be consistent through that. And I don't know, yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Like, obviously I dream of doing that, being the underdog that no one looks at. Oh my God, he gets 41, wins the Worlds, and there's a big runoff or something like that. But yeah, it's another tournament. It's a big tournament. It's the Worlds. I mean, you say you're world champion. Not many people can say that.
No. Well, the cool thing is, it is harder to stay on top than to get on top.
Yeah.
So obviously you know that. Like it's easy. 100%. It's easier to just pop one off.
Yeah.
And then now everybody's looking at you, and you're not the underdog anymore.
Well, when I did Swiss, I was like, oh man, that was really good. And like all pumped. Yeah. But then I was more excited when I went to Corey's the next week and got through at 41 again. I was like, oh man, this is not just like
backing it up.
I probably spoke to George. I was like, oh my god, I did it again. Where the hell is this coming from? Yeah. And then went again and went to Drew's and did 4, and I was like, I actually feel like I felt obviously like I'd accomplished something at Swiss, and then to do it again and make masters with a 41, I was like, I actually feel like I haven't just popped off one big score. I've been able to be consistent. as we talked about most of the interview, it's consistency that I'm looking for, and I felt like I did that at the start of the season.
Well, definitely one of my favorite quotes within the realm of kind of professional athletes is be who you are on the way up, because that's who you're going to have to be on the way down. And I think there's a lot of young kids watching you right now, what you're doing on the water, what you're doing off the water, and it's really cool and refreshing to hear somebody who's doing it for the right reasons, in my opinion, and doing it for the love of it and the craft and perfecting it and finding those feelings and working through the struggles and the downtimes, because that is a bigger lesson as an individual. You become a better person through that process, I think. And the good skiing and the performances and the podiums are secondary.
Bonus, and that's I know I was one of them. I was a kid that watched pro skiers and go, oh my god, I want to be that. That's why I skied, and I loved it, of course. But I went out there, I'd watch a webcast and I'd be skiing. I'm like, oh man, I feel like Will, I feel like Nate or Freddie. I'm like, oh man, I was trying to run whatever it was, 32, 58, no matter what it was. Yeah. But I watched that and it inspired me. I never watched a webcast and went, oh, that was cool, and went to bed. No. I watched a webcast and was like, oh man, I want to ski, or I did ski if it was the middle of the day.
Jumping out of your skin.
And I understand that is, it's cool to watch, and hopefully hopefully there'll be many more tournaments to watch in the future.
Well, thanks, buddy, for sitting down. It was fun.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Time to go ski.
Ski time.
Yeah.